Hello there, and welcome back to our channel today. We're talking about something that a lot of seniors, maybe even you or someone you love, don't pay much attention to: dehydration now. I know what you might be thinking. I drink water, I'm fine. But the truth is, most seniors don't realize they're dehydrated until it starts causing some real health problems, and by then, it can be trickier to bounce back. Dehydration isn't just about feeling thirsty. In fact, by the time you're thirsty, your body's already signaling that it's running low on fluids. So, if you rarely feel that thirst or more, if you ignored, your body might be operating on a water deficit more often than you think. This is particularly important for seniors because, as we age, our bodies change in ways that can mask the usual signs of dehydration. Things like certain medications, reduced kidney function, or even just a less responsive thirst mechanism can all contribute to this silent issue. In this video, we'll dive into the 6 main reasons why seniors often miss the signs of dehydration, the most common symptoms you should look out for, and, of course, practical tips to ensure you stay well hydrated without feeling like you're forcing yourself to guzzle endless amounts of water. Because let's face it, you've got a life to live, and we want to keep things realistic, simple, and manageable. By the end of these 20 minutes, my hope is that you'll not only understand dehydration better, but also feel empowered to take steps that boost your energy, protect your health, and improve your overall quality of life, even if you're well into your 60s, 70s, or beyond. Because no matter your age, hydration is one of the easiest ways to keep your body running like a well-oiled machine. And best of all, it doesn't cost a fortune and doesn't require a prescription. Sometimes small changes can have a huge impact on how you feel day to day. So, grab a comfy seat, maybe even a glass of water, and let's explore why dehydration often flies under the radar in seniors and what we can all do to fix that. Let's start by looking at why dehydration is such a big deal in the first place. We all need water to survive. That's no secret, but as you age, your body composition changes. When you were younger, a larger percentage of your body was made up of water. By the time you reach your 60s, 70s, and 80s, that percentage naturally decreases, coupled that with changes in hormones and kidney function, and suddenly your margin for error gets smaller. It becomes easier to slip into a mildly dehydrated state without noticing. Here's a story. A friend of mine, let's call him Egg, is 72. For years, he prided himself on not needing to drink too much water. He rarely felt thirsty. He'd have a cup of coffee in the morning, maybe some tea in the afternoon, and a small glass of water with dinner. That was it. He felt fine, or so he thought, but Ed noticed he was getting more frequent headaches, feeling sluggish, and sometimes even dizzy when he got up to fast. He chalked it up to just getting older. Then, at a routine checkup, his doctor told him he showed signs of chronic mild dehydration. When Ed finally started sipping water more consistently throughout the day, he found that many of those aches and fatigue symptoms started to fade. Why does this happen? One big reason is that our sense of thirst diminishes. As we age, the thirst mechanism in your brain isn't as sharp as it once was, which means you might not feel thirst until you're already behind on fluids. On top of that, you might be taking medications like diuretics for blood pressure that can cause more frequent urination, leading to fluid loss. All of these factors add up. The result? Many seniors live in a near constant state of low-level dehydration without even knowing it. Plus, dehydration has a domino effect on other health issues. It can worsen arthritis pain by reducing lubrication in the joints. It can affect kidney function, leading to urinary tract infections or kidney stones more easily. It can even amplify certain heart conditions if your blood volume drops too low. So, it's not just about feeling thirsty, it's about preventing a whole cascade of potential health problems. And that, my friend, is why seniors especially need to pay attention to hydration. It's not an optional item, it's a foundational aspect of staying healthy. If I asked you to name the signs of dehydration, you'd probably say things like thirst and dark-colored urine, right? Those are signs, but for seniors, some signs are more subtle and often overlooked. Let's talk about a few that might surprise you. Fatigue and weakness. You might feel tired or weak for no apparent reasons. Sometimes that's just the usual "I'm getting older," but often it's actually your body's way of telling you it's short on fluids. When you're dehydrated, your blood volume can drop, meaning less oxygen and nutrients are delivered to your muscles and organs, making you feel sluggish, dry mouth, or sticky saliva. If your saliva feels thick or your mouth seems perpetually dry, that's a glaring sign you need more fluid. But in some older adults, the sensation of a dry mouth might not be as noticeable as it would be for younger people. Again, the thirst mechanism is dulled. Dizziness or lightheadedness. Ever stand up too quickly and feel a little dizzy? That could be orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure, often linked to dehydration. While occasional dizziness can happen for many reasons, consistent episodes are a warning sign that your fluid intake might be too low. Confusion or brain fog. One of the scariest aspects of dehydration in seniors is how it can mimic dementia symptoms. Being even slightly dehydrated can impact cognitive functions, leading to confusion, disorientation, or just feeling foggy. If you or someone you know is noticing more forgetfulness, it's worth checking hydration levels before assuming it's something more serious. Less frequent urination. If you're not visiting the restroom as often as you used to, it might be because you simply don't have enough fluid in your system. On the flip side, some seniors intentionally drink plus to avoid frequent trips to the bathroom, especially at night. It's understandable, but it can also lead to a vicious cycle where you end up significantly dehydrated. Dry skin or decreased elasticity. Gently pinch the skin on the back of your hand. Does it snap back quickly, or does it take a moment to return to normal? If your skin is losing elasticity, it can be a sign of dehydration. Skin dryness isn't always about lotions and creams. Sometimes, it's an inside job that requires more water. What makes it tricky is that these signs often overlap with other conditions common in seniors. For instance, fatigue can be attributed to anemia or poor sleep, and dizziness might be blamed on blood pressure, meds, or other issues. That's why hydration is so often overlooked. It disguises itself behind symptoms we assume are caused by something else. In reality, many seniors might find those annoying everyday complaints seize up once they focus on drinking adequate fluids. We've touched on how aging changes the thirst mechanism, but let's delve deeper into why seniors specifically are at higher risk. Because understanding this helps you find solutions that actually fit your lifestyle. Reduced kidney function. As we get older, our kidneys aren't as efficient at conserving water. This means you lose water more quickly, increasing your baseline need for replenishment. If you ignore it, you risk creeping into dehydration territory. Medications. Many seniors take multiple medications, some of which can cause frequent urination or increased sweating. Diuretics, water pills, for example, literally flush water out of your body. If you're on medications like these, you might need more fluids than the average person. Always check with your doctor about how much water you should be drinking. If you're on diuretics, too much can be harmful too, so it's a balance. Mobility challenges. For some, getting up and fetching a glass of water isn't as simple as it used to be. Whether it's arthritis, hip issues, or simply a lack of energy, these mobility challenges can discourage regular hydration. If you live alone, you might hesitate to keep making trips to the kitchen, and before you know it, half the day has passed without you drinking more than a cup or two. Fear of incontinence. It's common for seniors to worry about accidents or frequent bathroom trips, especially at night. They cut down on fluids while it might solve the immediate issue while not wanting to get up multiple times. It unfortunately leads to a greater problem of ongoing dehydration. Appetite changes and low thirst cues. Sometimes, older adults eat less or skip meals. Meals are a key source of fluids, especially if you're eating soups or hydrating fruits. If you're eating less and not drinking extra, you're missing a big chunk of your fluid intake. Coupled with a dull thirst mechanism, it's easy to see how seniors slip into dehydration without noticing. Chronic health conditions. Conditions like diabetes can complicate fluid balance. High blood sugar can cause more frequent urination, and medications for diabetes can also alter your body's fluid dynamics. Heart conditions. Unrelated medications can have similar effects. Basically, the more chronic conditions you manage, the more vigilant you need to be about fluid intake. Recognizing these risk factors is the first step. You might already be nodding along, thinking, yes, that's me. If so, rest assured, there are workarounds and habits you can adopt to maintain better hydration without feeling overwhelmed. Let's talk about what happens if dehydration continues unchecked. We already mentioned some immediate symptoms: fatigue, confusion, dry mouth, but there are also longer-term consequences that can seriously affect your quality of life and even become life-threatening if ignored. Urinary tract infections (UTIs). When you're not adequately hydrated, your urine becomes more concentrated, making it easier for bacteria to grow. Seniors, especially women, are more prone to UTIs, and dehydration is often a silent culprit. Kidney stones or kidney damage. Our kidneys need fluid to filter waste effectively. Chronic dehydration can cause a buildup of minerals that form stones, leading to excruciating pain and potential kidney function decline over time. Constipation. Dehydration can slow down your digestive system, leading to harder stools and more difficulty passing them. Chronic constipation is not only uncomfortable, but can also contribute to hemorrhoids and other issues. Low blood pressure and falls. We've talked about dizziness, but think about what happens if you're dehydrated. Stand up quickly and get lightheaded. That can lead to a fall, which is a major concern for seniors who might already have balance or mobility issues. A fall can result in broken bones or head injuries, setting off a chain reaction of health complications. Worsening of chronic conditions. If you have heart disease, diabetes, or respiratory issues, dehydration can make it tougher to manage these conditions. For instance, thickened blood due to dehydration puts more strain on the heart. For diabetics, dehydration can mess with blood sugar levels, creating complications. Hospitalization. Severe dehydration in seniors often requires hospitalization for IV fluids. This can be especially risky if you already have frail health. Avoiding that scenario by staying hydrated at home is much easier than dealing with the stress and cost of a hospital visit. These might sound scary, but the silver lining is that all of these issues are preventable. By staying on top of your hydration, you can reduce the risk of UTIs, kidney problems, constipation, and more. In other words, spending a few moments each day being mindful about your fluid intake can literally add healthy, active years to your life. It's a small effort with a big payoff. Now, let's get into practical strategies. If you're thinking, all right, I get it. I need to drink more water, but how do I do that without feeling like I'm drowning myself? Here are some tried and true methods, especially designed for seniors who might find it challenging to drastically increase water intake overnight. Spread out your drinks instead of chugging a big glass of water all at once, which can feel overwhelming. Sip smaller amounts throughout the day. Keep a cup or water bottle by your side, whether you're watching TV, reading, or chatting on the phone. A few sips every 10-15 minutes can add up. Flavor your water. If plain water bores you, add slices of citrus fruit, cucumber, mint leaves, or even a splash of fruit juice for flavor. Many seniors find that adding a bit of taste encourages them to drink more, and it doesn't have to be complicated. A slice of lemon can work wonders. Use reminder alarms or apps. If you have a smartphone or a simple alarm clock, set a gentle reminder every couple of hours that says take a sip. This can help nudge you into building a routine. There are also free apps that track water intake, sending you notifications throughout the day. Hydrating foods. Remember, fluids don't have to come from a glass. Soups, stews, smoothies, and yogurt are excellent sources of water. Fruits like watermelon, cantaloupe, and berries have high water content, as do vegetables like cucumbers, zucchini, and tomatoes. Incorporating these into your meals helps you eat your water without feeling like you're forcing yourself to chug liquids. Make it social. If you have friends, neighbors, or grandchildren around, encourage each other to stay hydrated together. Play a little game. Every time a commercial break comes on, you both take a few sips, or if you're in a social setting, keep water as readily available as coffee or tea. Moderate your caffeine and alcohol intake. Caffeine and alcohol can act as diuretics, leading to more fluid loss. You don't have to cut them out entirely if you enjoy them, but be mindful. For example, if you have a cup of coffee, follow it with a glass of water. If you decide to have a small glass of wine at dinner, balance it by adding another glass of water before bedtime. Track your progress. At least in the beginning, it can help to jot down how many cups or ounces you're drinking daily. This isn't meant to be obsessive. It's just to give you an idea of whether you're consistently meeting your hydration goals. Once you develop the habit, you might not need to track so closely, but it's a helpful starting tool. One more note. If you have specific health conditions like congestive heart failure or are on certain medications, your fluid needs might differ. Always check with your healthcare provider. For personalized advice, the key is to find that sweet spot where you're well hydrated without putting undue strain on your heart or kidneys. Sometimes the biggest hurdle isn't physical, it's mental. Many seniors have habits or mindsets that keep them from prioritizing hydration. Let's address some of those. They don't like water. This is a common refrain. The solution? Explore other beverages that still offer hydration without too much sugar or caffeine. Herbal teas, flavored waters, or even watered-down fruit juice and do the trick. I don't want to pee all night. A valid concern. The fix is to shift most of your fluid intake to earlier in the day. Drink more in the morning and afternoon, and taper off in the evening. That way, you stay hydrated but minimize those nighttime bathroom trips. I forget until I'm thirsty. We've talked about how thirst isn't a reliable cue for seniors. That's where reminder alarms, labeled water bottles, or a schedule come in handy. Over time, it'll become second nature to sip regularly. Hey, don't want to bother others. If you rely on a caregiver, friend, or family member to help you get drinks, you might feel like you're imposing. Remember, your health is important, and people who care about you want you to stay well. Consider placing multiple water stations around your home to reduce how often you need help. I'm already on medications. Another health task feels overwhelming. This is totally understandable, but hydration can actually make some of your health tasks easier. Proper fluid intake can help your medications work more effectively and reduce side effects like constipation. Think of hydration as an investment that might simplify other aspects of your health routine. It's too late for me. The idea that you can't adopt new habits because of your age is simply not true. You can start reaping the benefits of hydration at any point. Even a small improvement can lead to better energy, fewer headaches, and a brighter mood. Ultimately, hydration is one of the simplest, most cost-effective things you can do for your health. It requires no fancy equipment, no complicated recipes, just a bit of water or water-based foods consistently throughout the day. Breaking down these mental barriers is crucial because you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if old habits or beliefs keep you from acting, nothing changes. Let's take a moment to share a few real-life stories with names changed for privacy that show how a small focus on hydration made a big difference. Margaret, 68, she had been dealing with persistent afternoon fatigue for years. She assumed it was her age, but then her granddaughter, who was studying nutrition in college, encouraged her to track her water intake. Margaret realized she was barely drinking 3 glasses a day, usually coffee in the morning and tea at lunch. She started filling a large water bottle each morning, aiming to finish it by late afternoon. Within a few weeks, her afternoon slumps weren't so severe. She found she could tackle more errands and hobbies without feeling wiped out by the pee. Williams, 74, suffered frequent urinary tract infections. His doctor recommended he drink more water, but William found it tedious still. He gave it a try, setting alarms on his phone to remind him. Over the next 6 months, he noticed fewer UTI symptoms. He also realized that his nighttime leg cramps, which he used to get almost nightly, became rare. Better hydration had helped with muscle function and flushing out bacteria from his urinary tract. Dolores, 80, struggled with dizziness whenever she stood up, often leading to near falls. Initially, she thought it was her blood pressure medication. Turned out dehydration was amplifying those side effects. By sipping water steadily through the day, especially when taking her meds, the bouts of dizziness lessened. Or Stolby, she had no idea something as simple as a glass of water could make such a difference in her day-to-day safety. These stories highlight a common theme. Seniors often accept certain annoyances like fatigue, dizziness, or frequent UT is as part of aging, but sometimes they're magnified by dehydration. Once they addressed hydration, life got a little easier. That's the power of a small habit with big potential rewards. So let's take a step back and recap what we've covered in these 20 minutes. We talked about why dehydration sneaks up on so many seniors, everything from a dull thirst mechanism to fear of incontinence at night. We explored the subtle signs like fatigue, confusion, and dry mouth that can easily be written off as normal aging. We looked at how ignoring hydration can lead to UTIs, kidney stones, constipation, and worse, but we also dove into practical solutions. sipping fluids throughout the day, eating hydrating foods, using reminders, and overcoming mental barriers. The biggest takeaway? You don't have to make dramatic, life-changing shifts to see benefits. To start small, if you're used to having 1 cup of water per day, try 2 or 3. If you already drink moderate amounts, maybe add hydrating foods to your meals. Find the approach that fits your routine and comfort level. And remember to check with your doctor if you have special fluid restrictions. Your body is an incredible machine. But like any machine, it needs proper maintenance, and water is the fuel that helps every system run smoothly. From your joints to your brain, by paying attention to hydration, you're giving yourself the gift of smoother digestion, clearer thinking, better energy, and a reduced risk of those health scares that can sidetrack your golden years. So, if you've made it this far, consider this your gentle nudge to stand up, grab a drink of water, and think about 1 or 2 small ways you can incorporate more fluids into your daily life. The difference you feel might surprise you. Thank you for watching and reading this far. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with anyone you know who might benefit from these tips, especially a senior who's been complaining of headaches, fatigue, or confusion. Your knowledge is power, and you never know whose health you might help protect by passing along these insights. Until next time, remember, staying hydrated is one of the simplest keys to better health at any age, but especially in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Here's to you and your well-hydrated, vibrant life ahead.